Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are diving deep into Chapter 83 today, Luffy in Black.
And what a title! It's both literal and deeply thematic. It speaks to the darkness of the situation, the visual of Hachi's ink, and perhaps even the bleak outlook for our captain by the chapter's end.
Oh, absolutely. But forget everything else for a second. Forget the matchups, forget the entrances. We have to start at the end because Oda just ripped the floor out from under us. Arlong with this vicious, chilling grin, a grin that's all teeth and predatory confidence, rips a whole chunk of his own headquarters out of the ground with Luffy still stuck in it and just tosses him into the deep end of the pool.
It's one of the most calculated, cruel moments we've seen from a villain yet. Think about the villains we've met so far. Morgan was about brute authority. Buggy was about ego. Kuro was about cunning and betrayal. Don Krieg was about overwhelming firepower. But this is different. Arlong didn't just defeat Luffy in a test of strength. He used Luffy's own nature, his devil fruit weakness, against him. It's a deeply personal and intelligent form of cruelty.
It's psychological warfare. He didn't just punch him out, he made him helpless. He turned him into an anchor. It's a full-on countdown clock. The captain is drowning and the crew is surrounded. This is a super level of despair. If you want to make sure you're around for when we find out how they get out of this, maybe follow our signal. Every follow is like an air bubble for Luffy. Help a captain out.
A grim but effective metaphor, Franky. Let's rewind. We have to unpack how we got to this point of utter desperation. Let's start from the beginning of the chaos.
Right. So the chapter kicks off right where the last one left off. That glorious, ridiculous panel of Luffy using his Gomu Gomu no Kazaguruma, the Gum Gum Pinwheel, to launch Momou, the giant sea cow, into the horizon. And the villagers, Genzo, Nojiko, they're just stunned, speechless.
And you can't blame them. They've lived under the shadow of these fishmen for 8 long years. They've seen Arlong's power firsthand. They've paid tribute. They've lived in fear. They've never seen anyone, let alone a human, just knock one of their monsters around like it's a toy. To them, Luffy is doing the impossible. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated hope. But it's a hope that comes with a price, because Luffy paid for that awesome move. That technique, spinning his feet into the ground to get the torque he needed to swing a multi-ton sea cow. It has him planted waist deep in solid concrete. He can't move an inch. It's such a classic Luffy moment. Immense, world-shaking power with a complete and utter lack of foresight. He solves the immediate problem in the biggest way possible, creating a much worse problem a second later. It's the core of his fighting style, isn't it? He weaponizes his own recklessness. But here, for the first time, it feels like that recklessness has led to a truly inescapable trap. He's not just tangled up or stuck in a box. He's literally part of the foundation of the enemy headquarters. And Arlong's officers see their opening immediately.
They sure do. We get a proper introduction to the inner circle, the top brass of the Arlong pirates. Chu, Kurobi of the Fishman Karate, and Hachan of the Six Sword style.
These aren't just random goons. Oda gives them distinct designs, distinct titles, and a sense of camaraderie and hierarchy. Chu, the archerfish fishman, with those pronounced lips that are clearly his primary weapon. Kurobi, the ray fishman, looking like a stoic martial artist, and Hachan, the octopus fishman, who is just a delightful and bizarre design. They're a formidable lineup.
They're the monster trio of the Arlong pirates, and they basically tell their captain, "Sit down, boss, relax, we got this." Their reasoning is what gets me, though. It's not just, "We can handle them, boss." It's, "If you fight, you'll destroy Arlong Park."
That one line does so much work. It speaks volumes about Arlong's power. They aren't worried he'll lose to these 4 humans. They're worried he'll win too hard and break their home, their symbol of fishman superiority. It establishes his threat level without him throwing a single punch yet. It's brilliant writing.
Exactly. It's such efficient storytelling. And then Hachi steps up, an octopus fishman with 6 arms. 6! What a design! And he doesn't waste any time. He doesn't monologue. He immediately goes for the kill shot. He just unloads this massive spray of black ink, his Hachi inkjet, right in Luffy's face.
It blinds him completely. This is what makes the fishmen a different kind of threat than the crew has faced before. They aren't just strong, they have innate biological advantages that humans can't counter. Morgan had an axe hand, a modification. Kuro had his cat claws. Krieg had a suit of armor. But this is Hachi's body. They fight with their entire being. It's a whole new level of enemy.
A blinded, stuck captain. The situation goes from bad to worse in seconds. Hachi isn't playing around. He then just rips a huge piece of the broken tower off, a massive slab of stone, and just brings it down on Luffy's head. From our perspective, it's over, right? There's no way he can dodge this.
It's a killing blow. There's no other interpretation. But just as it's about to connect, out of nowhere, a single black leg just flashes into frame and shatters the entire stone pillar into dust. Not into chunks. Dust.
Sanji! What an entrance! My God, the style, the swagger! He doesn't say a word, just calmly obliterates the weapon that was coming for his captain. The paneling is perfect. You see the rock, then the leg, then the explosion of debris. This is the first time we're really seeing him in a full-on crew battle as an official Straw Hat, and he immediately establishes himself as a protector. It's not about glory, it's about shielding his captain.
And notice the details. Kurobi and the others immediately start spouting their rhetoric at him, the whole filthy, inferior human speech. It's the core of their belief system, their entire motivation. They genuinely believe they are a superior species, and that humans are little more than insects to be crushed. It's the first time we're facing an antagonist whose ideology is rooted in systemic racism.
And Sanji just lights a cigarette. He is completely, totally, 100% unimpressed. He's not intimidated at all. He doesn't even bother to respond to their insults. It's like they're not even worth his breath. Meanwhile, Usopp is in the background trying to pull Luffy out of the concrete, which is just peak comedy. His legs are straining, his face is a mask of panic. The absurdity of him trying to pull a rubber man out of solid rock is perfect.
It's a great moment of character contrast, and it's something Oda excels at. You have Sanji, the stoic, elegant fighter, and Usopp, the panicked but loyal friend, both trying to help their captain in their own completely different ways. One is the shield, the other is, well, he's trying his best.
He really is. But Hachi doesn't even care about Sanji. Sanji just performed this incredible feat of strength, and Hachi ignores him completely. He grabs another, even bigger chunk of the tower and rears back to finish Luffy off. He is totally locked on the captain. In his mind, taking out the leader is all that matters.
And that's when a second protector steps in. The first line of defense has been breached, so the next one appears.
Zoro, he just appears in front of Hachi, swords drawn, blocking his path. And the look on his face, it's pure ice. There's no fanfare, no flashy move. He's just there. He is the wall that Hachi will not pass.
Hachi is furious now. His plan has been interrupted twice. He's screaming at Zoro, angry about what he did to the other fishmen on the way here. It adds a personal layer to their conflict. Hachi isn't just fighting an intruder. He's fighting the man who took down his comrades.
He then throws the giant chunk of rock right at him, an attack of pure frustration and brute force. And Zoro doesn't even flinch. He doesn't cut it, he doesn't dodge it, he just lets it crash near him and looks at Hachi and says they're all going to be beaten. It's not a threat, it's a statement of fact. This is that demon aura we saw against the Niaban brothers. He's still carrying that massive wound from Mihawk. You can see the bandages, but his spirit is completely, totally unbreakable. He's radiating killing intent.
This moment solidifies the matchups in a very organic way. Zoro, the swordsman, is now facing Hachan, the six-sword style user. It's a battle of sword philosophy. Sanji, the martial artist, is squared up against the other fighters, including the master of fishman karate. The battle lines are being drawn not by a formal announcement, but by the natural flow of combat and protection.
It's perfect. It feels like this was always how it was going to be. The three strongest Straw Hats taking on the three strongest Arlong pirates. Oda is setting the table for the main course.
But there's a fourth officer, and he finds his opponent not through a heroic stand or a clash of styles, but through pure, chaotic chance.
Oh man, Usopp, you gotta love him. He's so relieved that Zoro is handling Hachi that he just relaxes for a second, and in that moment of relief, he accidentally lets go of Luffy's legs.
And Luffy, being made of rubber and stretched to his limit by Usopp's pulling, snaps back like a slingshot.
Right into the fishman with the big lips, Chew. He just decks him from behind with the back of his head. It's maybe the most Usopp thing that has ever happened in the series so far. His cowardice and clumsiness accidentally result in a direct, unprovoked hit on an enemy commander. It's beautiful.
Chew is, understandably, enraged. He was just standing there, observing the fight, and suddenly gets whacked. He turns around, sees Usopp looking terrified, and puts two and two together. He just starts chasing him.
And Usopp does what Usopp does best. He runs. He runs for his life, screaming his head off, leading Chew on a wild chase all the way out of Arlong Park. It's played for laughs, but it's also a strategic retreat, even if it's accidental at first.
But this is where it gets interesting, and the tone shifts dramatically. Chew stops when he sees the villagers from Kokoyashi, all armed with makeshift weapons, pitchforks and shovels.
He's not a mindless brute. He immediately recognizes the signs of a rebellion. His entire demeanor changes from comical anger to cold fury.
He puts it all together in a second. He's not just chasing a pirate. He's confronting an uprising. He calls them out on it. He threatens them. The tension just skyrockets. This could turn into a massacre of innocent people right then and there.
And in that moment of extreme tension, when all hope seems lost for the villagers, Usopp makes his stand. From a distance, hiding behind a wall, he yells. And a second later, Chew is hit with a massive explosion.
Ken Boshi, the exploding star. He actually did it. He sniped him. He turns with his back to the villagers so they can't see the terror on his face and declares, "I'm your opponent." That's the shot. That's the panel. That's the moment Captain Usopp shows up. He's terrified, sure. His legs are knocking together, but he draws the enemy's fire onto himself to protect the villagers.
It's a critical step in his journey. In Serap Village, he fought to protect his home in Kaya, but he was also lying and trying to convince the villagers it wasn't happening. Here, he is actively and publicly choosing to be the shield for people who are not from his island. This is him embracing his role as a Straw Hat pirate. And then he immediately starts running again once Chew gets up, which confuses the hell out of the villagers. But it's perfect. It's brilliant. He did the brave thing, and now he's doing the smart thing, leading the big, dangerous fish away from the defenseless civilians. It's tactical cowardice. He's fighting a battle on his own terms.
Exactly. He's controlling the battlefield in his own unique way. He's not a frontline fighter like Zoro or Sanji, so he creates a different kind of fight, when he can potentially win through trickery, traps, and long-range attacks. He's a guerrilla fighter.
So with Usopp and Chew gone, we cut back to the main event, and Arlong has had enough of sitting on his throne and watching his subordinates fight.
Despite Kurobe's protests, he stands up. The sheer presence he has is palpable. He says he just wants to say something to the man in the ground.
And Luffy, still blind from the ink and completely stuck, just throws a wild punch in the direction of Arlong's voice. Gomu Gomu no pistol. I love it so much. No fear, no hesitation, just pure instinct. Enemy talking? Punch.
Arlong catches the punch effortlessly. He doesn't even strain. He just puts his webbed hand up and stops it cold. He looks down at Luffy with a mix of amusement and contempt and asks the central question of the arc. Do you really think you can beat us, a lowly human like you?
And Luffy, without a single shred of doubt, without a moment's hesitation, just says yes. Then the camera pulls back and you hear Zoro, who's facing down Hachi, and Sanji, who's surrounded by the other fishmen, affirm it too. They both say yeah from their own positions. That moment, that gives me chills every time. That's the Straw Hat Pirates. 3 guys in an impossible situation, surrounded and outmatched, with their captain incapacitated, and they have total, absolute, unshakable faith in their victory.
It's a confidence that Arlong cannot comprehend. His entire worldview is based on a physical, biological hierarchy of power and species. He believes fishmen are superior, therefore they will win. The Straw Hats' belief is based on something else entirely, on loyalty, on dreams, on their captain. It's a strength he can't measure, and so he dismisses it.
So Arlong decides he's done talking. He's done playing games. He reaches down, grabs the concrete that Luffy is stuck in, and with a roar just rips the entire block, the foundation itself, out of the ground.
The sheer strength required to do that is absurd. We're not talking about breaking concrete. We're talking about tearing a house's foundation out of the earth as if it were a weed. He's not just strong, he's on another level. He's treating the very foundation of his base like it's wet sand. It completely recontextualizes his power level.
Luffy, now being held up in this block of stone by Arlong, is still fighting. He tries to punch him again. And this is the part that's just brutal. Arlong doesn't block it, he doesn't dodge. He opens his mouth and catches Luffy's fist with his teeth.
Those teeth, they're a signature part of his design, but this is the first time we see them used in combat. They're like a row of daggers. He bites down and you just know it's shredding Luffy's rubber skin. It's a primal, vicious way to fight. It's showing that he is, at his core, a predator. He's not a martial artist. He's a shark.
It's the ultimate power move. He's saying your greatest weapon, your fists, are useless against my very biology. Luffy, in pure desperation and pain, does the only thing he can think of. He bites Arlong's arm in retaliation.
And it does absolutely nothing. Arlong doesn't even register it. He mocks him for it. The difference in their physical durability is made painfully, horrifyingly clear in that one exchange. Luffy's human bite is nothing against a fishman's hide.
And then Arlong says it. He knows about devil fruits. He says, I heard a rumor about you, that you're a hammer. He knows what water does. He rears back, holding this huge block of concrete with the future king of the pirates embedded in it.
And with all his might, throws him into the deep swimming pool at the center of Arlong Park.
The splash is huge, and then silence. It's checkmate. Luffy is a hammer. He sinks instantly. The weight of the concrete pulling him down, combined with the seawater draining his strength, he's completely immobilized, drowning. There is no escape.
It is the ultimate humiliation and the most effective tactic imaginable. Arlong didn't just beat Luffy, he neutralized him using his own weakness, turning his greatest enemy into a ticking clock for the rest of his crew. It's strategically brilliant and monstrously cruel.
Sanji sees it happen and immediately, without a second's thought, moves to dive in after him. His captain is drowning, he's going in. That's Sanji. All heart, all instinct. Protector to the end.
But Zoro stops him. In a fantastic panel, he grabs Sanji's shoulder and holds him back. There's a look of grim understanding on his face.
And Zoro, ever the tactician, the first mate in all but name, lays it out with cold, brutal logic. He says the fishmen were baiting them. This was a trap from the moment they saw Luffy was stuck.
He understands Arlong's strategy perfectly. If Sanji jumps in, he's in their element. He'd be fighting fishmen underwater where they have every conceivable advantage of speed, strength, and maneuverability, all while trying to break a massive block of concrete to free a weakened Luffy. They'd be picked off one by one. It would be a slaughter.
Zoro's conclusion is cold, hard, and absolutely correct. We need to take out the fishmen to save Luffy. They can't rescue him directly. They have to win the fight on the surface first, and they have to do it fast, before Luffy's lungs give out.
The chapter ends on that realization. The stakes have never been higher. It completely reframes the entire battle. It's no longer just a fight for a village's freedom. It's a desperate race against time for their captain's life.
It's an impossible situation. The tension is just super. This is what One Piece is all about. Pushing our heroes to the absolute brink, making victory seem like a fantasy, and then seeing how they claw their way back.
It's the perfect cliffhanger. The captain is sinking, his remaining crew is surrounded by superior enemies in their home turf, and the only way to save him is to achieve a victory that already seemed impossible, but now they have to do it on a timer.
Absolutely brutal. I gotta know what happens next. The dread is real. Let us know in the comments how you felt seeing Luffy hit the water for the first time as a Devil Freight user. How long do you think he can even hold his breath down there? Is rubber lung capacity different? I need answers.
An excellent and terrifying question. Shall we move to predictions for Chapter 84?
Let's do it. I'll go first. My first prediction is that we're going to get the official start of Sanji's fight, and it's going to be against Kurobi. It just makes too much sense. Zoro is locked on Hachi, Usopp is dealing with Chu, Arlong is gloating. That leaves Kurobi for Sanji, the master of Fishman Karate versus the master of the Black Leg style. It's a battle of martial arts, feet versus fists, land versus sea.
I think Kurobi is going to try and drag the fight into the water, and Sanji's challenge will be keeping him on solid ground.
I like that. It's a thematically perfect matchup. My first prediction is that we are about to get Nami's flashback. The emotional stakes are at their absolute peak. Luffy is literally dying for her village. The crew is laying down their lives for her. We, the audience, need to understand the full weight of her 8-year history with Arlong. What did he do to her? To her village? Why does she have that tattoo? This is the perfect dramatic moment for Oda to cut away from the sinking Luffy and show us the why behind this whole conflict.
Oh, that's a good one. A flashback right now would hit so hard. Okay, my second prediction is about the villagers, specifically Genzo and Nojiko. They are not just going to stand by and watch Luffy drown. They just saw this kid, who represents their first real hope in years, get thrown into a pool to die. I think they're going to make a move. They can't fight the fishmen head on, but I predict they will try to create a diversion or even attempt to rescue themselves, maybe trying to use a rope or something, pulling the fishmen's attention away from Zoro and Sanji for a crucial moment. It'll probably fail, but their courage will be important.
A bold move, but it fits their characters. They're done being passive victims. My second prediction concerns the specifics of Zoro's fight with Hachin. Hachin knows Zoro is wounded. He saw the bandages from the fight with Mihawk, a wound that should have killed him. I predict Hachin is going to relentlessly and specifically target that chest wound. He'll see it as a weakness to exploit. The fight will be about Zoro having to overcome not just an opponent with 6 swords, but the severe limitations of his own injured body. Every move will risk reopening the wound. It will be a battle of sheer, unadulterated willpower, a test of his promise to Mihawk that he would never lose again.